Finally, we get the news we've all been waiting for. Boy Wonder gets his Sixth Man of the Year award. Tyler Herro officially getting the recognition that he deserves for his outstanding season coming off the bench for the Miami Heat. Put out the video yesterday. I don't know, it came around like 6 o'clock or something like that. He received his award, looked like at practice. Awesome moment where his teammates are gathered around, giving him the award. And Udonis Haslem just gives him this heartfelt speech about everything that he did this year for the good of the team, all while becoming a father and not only growing as the sixth man, but as a man. Udonis Haslem, man, I wish that guy speak at my funeral or some type of big moment in life. That dude, every time he speaks, it's like Goosey's galore, dude. I mean, it really is. Like, it just hits you right there in the back of the neck, right there on the hairs of your arm. They all stand up because when he says something, it matters. And I think that mattered a lot. You know, it's one of these things, I think, why Tyler Herro getting this recognition, I think, mattered a lot because it has been a sacrifice. You know, a lot of people mocked him coming into this year, mocked him last year, calling him Bubble Boy. They mocked him this year because he came into the season in, you know, quotes where he's putting himself in the conversation with Trae Young and Luka and Ja Morant. And, you know, a lot of people are just laughing at this. You know, they put him in those stupid, you know, bench start cut things that NBA Central puts out that I want to stick a fork in my eye anytime they put it on my Twitter timeline. And he's always the guy that everybody wants to bounce from it, even though the guy's been to the highest of heights, higher heights than any of these guys have been as far as winning's concerned. And I just was happy to see him get the recognition that he deserved. You know, I saw some of this bull bleep that was coming out in the latter stages of the season where you saw people like John Hollinger and Mark Stein put out these columns disparaging basically what Tyler is doing. More so Hollinger, who's just like, oh, we're always going to give it to the guy off the bench who shoots the most shots on the best team. Is this what the award's always going to be? It's kind of, first of all, it's like, yeah. Like, Jordan Clarkson was getting rose petals thrown at him for the season that he was having when he did it. But Tyler Herro does it for the Miami Heat, and all of a sudden it's a problem. But you want to go give the award to Kevin Love because he decided to play basketball for the first time in 5 years. And also, you know, people were, Mark Stein was like, oh, we're doing it for sentiment because Kevin Love went from a guy who was disgruntled to a guy who's now being talked about as one of the teammates of the year. It's like, well, how can you grade that he's a better teammate than Tyler Herro? Lord knows I would love to hear it. The guy got kicked off Team USA. So I just thought all that was funny. And lo and behold, these award results come out. Because I was a little nervous. Like, I saw what happened with Marcus Smart and Bam getting robbed with that, not even being top 3, but then giving it to Marcus Smart because of media narrative. It's only 100 people who get to vote for this thing. And I see the results come out. Only 3 people voted Kevin Love first place for Sixth Man of the Year. And I just think to myself, man, they have to be embarrassed when that comes out, right? Like, you make this big grandstanding column and the Athletic puts all these little screen grabs out there, and Mark Stein's newsletter puts all these screen grabs, all trying to grab the attention, the fodder, and one other person, most likely from Cleveland, voted Tyler Herro, didn't vote Tyler Herro Sixth Man of the Year. I just think to myself, good. You know what? You deserve to eat that in shame. That you two were 2 jackals, 2 carnival barkers alone, just by your lonesome with your stupid reasoning for not having Tyler Herro win that award, which he absolutely deserved. We don't get to change the rules all of a sudden. Oh, Tyler Herro takes the most shots on the team. Tyler Herro plays starters minutes. I didn't make the rules. You know, he's not introduced by Mike Biamonte when the flamethrowers go off. The guy gets to qualify. You don't get to change the rules all of a sudden and say what's a sixth man and what's not a sixth man. He's a sixth man. Is he, you know, to the fodder that Eric Spoelstra calls him our sixth starter or whatever the hell window dress you want to put on it. The dude qualifies for it. He comes off the bench. He comes with like 6 minutes left in the first quarter, and then he goes and dominates your ass. So I was just happy for the reasons of shut some people up. You know, the guy came in with a lot to prove this year and said that he was going to, with the first true off season that he had, the physicality that he had to his body with, you know, putting some bulk on, putting some muscle on, being stronger, being more durable. And you just seen a lot of growth in his game. I think we've seen it with his chemistry with Bam Adebayo this year, with the kind of playmaker that he's become, the way he reads the game, all these things natural. The dude's 22 years old, by the way. And born on a good day, by the way, January 20th, which is old Tommy Tobin's birthday as well. So you forget about how young he is because time has been lost over this whole coronavirus thing. And it's like you feel like Tyler Herro's almost been in your life for 6 years, but it's really only been for 3 seasons. And you blend that into whatever the hell actual time that's been. I guess it's been officially like 3 years, a little 3+ years, but it all kind of feels almost like 6. And he really has only gotten to improve in one summer because of how jumbled everything has been. On top of that, you have the trade rumors that he's had to deal with, the disrespect that he's had to deal with, and really has matured before our very eyes at a very, very rapid pace. And I think the thing that I like the most about winning this award, quite frankly, is the idea that I've wondered with guys like Tyler and guys like Bam, and I wondered this after Bam didn't win Defensive Player of the Year, if being part of Heat culture is awesome. And you know that as a guy who loves the team, I snort it up like cocaine. I love the drumbeat that they all go to. But in a lot of other markets, it's not Heat culture. It's not all under the mantra of the logo or the team or all that stuff. It's not the same way, I guess, unfortunately, I would have to put as the Patriot way or the Spurs maybe go as they go. A lot of it is put on as, yeah, you're under this, you're instead of being under the mechanism of everything is for the championship, everything is for the team, a lot of it is built around the stars. The Grizzlies are Ja Morant. The Hawks are Trae Young. The Mavericks are Luka Doncic. You might as well just change their logos to their faces. And that's how those guys are treated. And whether you want to think Tyler Herro is in that class, not in that class, a lot of the ways Tyler Herro is never going to be, even Dwayne Wade, in a lot of ways, even though Dwayne Wade is important for everything elite that the Heat have, everything, from their championships to the recruitment of stars to being nationally relevant, even more so than Pat Riley is what Dwayne Wade's actions are on the court. And even he couldn't outrun just the Heat logo and the Heat culture and all of that stuff. And so Tyler Herro, a star in his own right, where he has Drake and Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul and everybody wanting to interact with him and having songs named after him after 1 year. It's going to be very hard for Tyler Herro to ever and this organization ever outrun just the logo, the Heat culture, and all that type of stuff. I think that is one of the, I don't know if you want to call it a downfall or one of the downsides, whatever I guess you value as far as a fan is concerned. But I do think that it does kind of kill the Heat when it comes to these accolades. Even Spo was wondering this, like where they were a 1 seed. It's like, man, typically, Spo was saying, like, typically when you're a 1 seed, you get the accolades. I mean, this is coming from a guy who's never won Coach of the Year. Never. Because it's always looked about, oh yeah, that's Riley's protege, right? That's Riley's understudy. Everybody kind of deals with it with this organization. Really, the only guy you could say kind of outran it a little bit was probably LeBron. But even LeBron got punished for being on the Heat, quite frankly. Like, he probably should have won an MVP in his first season here, and he didn't because he went down to Miami. Everybody was so damn pissed. So finally, for him making a sacrifice for the Miami Heat and doing something he doesn't want to do and is very open and honest about it, and that's cool with him. I'm cool with that too. Like, he's not a jerk about it. He's just like, I want to start. That's what I want to do, but I'm not, and I'm going to do this to the best of my ability. For that to be rewarded, I just find great joy in that for everything that the Heat put their young guys through, especially their big men, I would say, with Bam and with, like, you look back to what Precious gets to spread his wings a little bit more, and he came into a weird year, I give you, but still, you look at Bam as the example, how it took him to crack his way into being a starting guy for this team. I think it's the Heat can be tough in that regard with their young guys and what they ask them to carry and what kind of sacrifices they ask their guys to make, where a lot of people don't make their first round picks do that. They don't. And maybe you would say, oh, well, they're not in winning situations and the standard is in the championship. Okay. I'll hear you out on that and all of that. But that doesn't change the fact from being that, these guys are compared to their peers and want to be up there and talk to their peers. They're human like anybody else. And when they're not, and they're overlooked for, I thought Tyler Herro deserved to be an all-star, but he wasn't going to get it because he comes off the bench. I remember Charles Barkley saying, oh, he doesn't play. He plays against the other people's scrubs. And I was just happy to see that something like this was rewarded. And I hope that this series rewards him in a lot of ways too, because he had a great performance in his first game. And whether the James Harden rumors are true, untrue, he heard them and admitted to Izzy Gutierrez that they did affect him. And so I think it would be cool for Tyler Herro to have a great series against somebody like James Harden, even if they aren't going mano a mano with each other. If he can be the leading scorer in this series for Miami and provide a lot of punch for Miami while James Harden is falling all over the face and getting put in jail by PJ Tucker, I think that has to be a good feather in his cap as well. That would be something that I think he would look upon with a lot of pride and would feel pretty good, a pretty good silent FU to everybody, because the guy has grown up a lot. He's grown up a lot physically. He's grown up a lot in his game, how he's trying to get people involved. I mentioned the band thing. He mentioned this as a leader the other day with Vic. He was asked about Victor Oladipo, and he goes, a lot of people think we can't play together, but I don't think that's true. And I thought that was a cool thing for Tyler Herro to bring up.
We can play together. People don't think we can, but we can, and we've had reps yesterday in practice, and throughout the playoffs, we're going to continue to get better with that. We're just trying to find a balance of who's handling and who's playing off the ball, and we'll continue to get better with that.
Because, Vic's going through his own thing, and Vic is a veteran, and he's been around it, and he's been to the highest highs. He's kind of been where Tyler Herro wants to be, right? But he was a high-regarded draft pick, but had to kind of circle through a lot of places before he got to Indiana and became that Victor Oladipo. And now he's almost on the mend back, and is back where he's back now, where Tyler Herro is in a lot of ways, in that he's in the start of a role, trying to work his way back. And it's health reasons, obviously. I mean, the guy is an absolute phenomenal talent when he is right. But for Tyler Herro to kind of be like, no, we're going to make this thing work. For 22 years old, I thought that was a really cool thing for Tyler Herro to mention. Spo talked a little bit about Vic yesterday too, and this dynamic that he's brought to the table as far as going from, we're just happy that he's playing minutes, to now, even with I don't know what'll happen when Kyle Lowry's back, but for right now, they're relying on him, and he has made Spo notice him and has made him play him.
Going from where Victor was when you were just happy that he made the journey back to getting his early minutes to him forcing his way, kind of just to show like you can rely upon him still at this point. Like, have you been surprised, marveled that he has gotten and taken that leap from the time of just getting back on the court to now you are trusting him in playoff games?
Yeah, I think the biggest story about Vic is the commitment to get his body right, get him mentally, physically, emotionally ready, and then to be vulnerable, just to be available. I've said this many times, but there's just not a lot of players that would do that put themselves out there for the team if you're not guaranteed a specific role. And this role is different than, who he's been when he's been at the top of his game. He's a go-to player. And you're talking about, a full-time starter and all-star player, all-NBA, like leading the league in steals, like all of these things are that of a one or two option. And here he's playing a totally different role, and he's embracing it. It's growing, by the week. But I think it's a big time credit to his competitive character and his willingness just to give to the team, regardless of whether that fits exactly who he was before. And he's shown that if he has those opportunities, in terms of usage, he can be who he was before. And at times we do need that. At times we need him, to fill other roles, and he's embraced all of that. That's why I respect him so much. I admire him, for that. And this is also the first time he's been part of a team that's been out of the first round, and he's just soaking this all in, and he just wants to give and help and serve. Wouldn't we all be better if we were all like that, with our daily occupations, no matter what we do? And
he also mentioned that, like, the chemistry with him and Tyler is getting better.
We just felt we needed his skill set, and defensively I thought he was really good, active, guarding multiple guys. He gives us another attacker. He's also a spacer. He didn't knock down his threes last night, but he's fully capable of that. He and Tyler have been building a better chemistry, certainly in practice. And then we'll just see. Everybody's on the table. I know a couple guys didn't play last night, but it could change, tomorrow. It might not, but we'll see.
I love it. I love to hear it. So shout out to Tyler Herro. Congratulations on getting that award. Obviously deserved. And it was great to see him get the recognition for doing a role that he wasn't thrilled about doing, but did it better than anybody in this league and did it at his age, handled it with great maturity, was a dynamo scoring for the Miami Heat this season, and hopefully continues with a lot of success in that role throughout the playoffs.